Hi folks, Shelley here. This time I'm going to talk to you about how to deal with your ends. Now, it's a little bit different depending on where you are and how you've done things. So let's just start with the easy one, the outside edge. I've pulled it through the last loop and snipped it off. Threaded my yarn on my yarn needle. And on the back, of course, I simply go down underwards and work through the bottom of the back of the stitches. Now, at this point, don't pull it too tight. I'll show you what happens if you do. If I pull it tight, it creates a little dip in your work. So you need to just be mindful of that and just pull it as much as you need to. Then what I do is go over that last one I've come out from underneath and go backwards that way. And back one more time again. Oops. Then I grab my scissors and pulling it up slightly. Oops. Snip that end off. And that's that end dealt with. Now I've started this one with a magic circle. So I have to weave this end in really, really well. So again, thread your needle. Now, this is a bit tricky doing it through the camera, so bear with me. I'm a bit wonky. Oops. Pull it quite tight. What I'm doing is working around this centre piece. The stitches in the centre. And we go backwards. Always go over that, like I've come out here, so I go over that last one I've come out of. And back, all the way back around. Because this is quite a solid little block, I'm going to add some extra insurance. I'm going to go up behind these stitches and I'm up in the next round now. I'm going to weave backwards and forwards a couple of times under this. Maybe one more time. You can go back down into the centre if you like or whatever, but I think that's probably enough. And snip your yarn off. That's that done. Now, the only other thing I want to show you is granny squares. Now, quite often if it's quite a solid square, you can just crochet over your ends as you go, and that's fine. When you're adding a new colour, work over your old one and your new one. With granny squares, because of the gaps, crocheting over the yarn leaves a strip of the yarn visible at the back, and it doesn't really work. So I believe you need to weave in your ends, oops, instead of crocheting over them. So again, threaded my needle. What I'm going to do is work back through the back of this stitch to where there's all of these nice bases of the stitch. I'm going to go backwards and forwards around here a couple of times. Now there is a knot. I did finish off with a knot, so again, don't pull it too tight. Just make sure when you look at it at the front that it's all good. Oops. This really is interesting through the corner, through the camera. There we go. Oh, keep catching it. And that's it. And again, just pull it up